In the heart of Nebraska, a chilling mystery unfolded in 2011 when Dave Kroupa's life was turned upside down. After a chance encounter with a woman named Cari Farver, Dave quickly found himself entangled in a whirlwind romance that would lead to a nightmare he never saw coming. When Cari mysteriously disappeared, Dave became the prime suspect in a case that revealed a twisted narrative of love, obsession, and deceit. As the investigation deepened, secrets began to surface, uncovering a disturbing trail of digital messages and shocking revelations. With the clock ticking and Cari's fate hanging in the balance, Dave struggled to prove his innocence while grappling with the chilling reality of what had transpired. Join us as we delve into this gripping tale of intrigue, betrayal, and the quest for the truth behind Cari Farver's disappearance and its profound impact on Dave Kroupa's life. But before we dive in, some of the details in this story are disturbing and may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. As always, remember to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with the channel. Alright, let's dive into the video. After separating from his long-term girlfriend and the mother of his children, Dave Kroupa moved to Omaha in 2012, hoping for a new beginning. Eager to meet someone new, he turned to online dating for the first time. As a mechanic running his own auto shop, Dave's life took an unexpected twist when he met Liz Golyar. At first, he was drawn to her lively personality. However, things became complicated when he also started dating another woman, Cari Farver. What seemed like a simple love triangle would quickly turn into a nightmare that would change Dave's life forever. Dave Kroupa's life took a significant turn in 2012 when he moved to Omaha, Nebraska. After separating from his longtime partner, Amy Flora, with whom he shares 2 children, Dave found himself navigating the challenges of life as a single father. The end of his relationship left him feeling lost and uncertain about the future. Seeking to establish a new routine and provide stability for his children, he took a job managing an auto repair shop. It was a familiar environment for him, as he had always been passionate about cars and mechanics. In an effort to meet new people and possibly find love again, Dave decided to explore the world of online dating for the first time. Feeling rusty after years in a committed relationship, he signed up for the dating site Plenty of Fish. He hoped to connect with someone who could understand his situation as a single parent, while also bringing some joy back into his life. It was on this platform that he connected with Shauna Liz Golyar. Dave was immediately drawn to Liz's vibrant personality and energy. She was a single mother living in Iowa, just like him. Their initial interactions were casual and lighthearted, filled with laughter and shared stories about their lives as parents. Dave felt a sense of comfort with Liz that he hadn't experienced in a long time. They began dating, enjoying each other's company while exploring Omaha together. However, Dave's dating life became more complicated when he met Cari Farver. He first encountered Cari at his auto shop shortly after starting to date Liz. Cari was a 37-year-old computer programmer who also had 2 children. Dave described her as smart and sexy, someone who seemed out of his league but whom he found irresistibly attractive. Their chemistry was undeniable, and after their first date on October 29, 2012, Dave invited Cari over to his apartment. That evening marked the beginning of a whirlwind romance between Dave and Cari. They quickly bonded over shared interests and experiences as single parents. Cari was charming and confident, making Dave feel alive again after his recent heartbreak. They spent hours talking about their lives, dreams, and aspirations, forging a connection that felt genuine and exciting. However, things took an unexpected turn when Liz showed up at Dave's apartment to collect some of her belongings, shortly after he had spent time with Cari. This brief encounter would have lasting consequences for all 3 involved. Liz was unaware of Cari's existence at first, but quickly sensed something was off when she noticed Dave's distracted behavior. As Dave began seeing both women simultaneously, the dynamics grew increasingly tense. Cari expressed interest in deepening their relationship, even suggesting that they move in together after only a few weeks of dating. However, when Dave hesitated and declined her proposal, she abruptly cut off contact with him, declaring she never wanted to see him again. This sudden shift triggered a series of alarming events that would unravel into chaos. Within days of their breakup, Dave started receiving threatening messages from Cari Farver. She began sending aggressive texts filled with rage and jealousy, directed not only at him, but also at Liz Golyar. The situation intensified as Liz began receiving similar messages from Cari as well. Reports indicated that Cari vandalized Liz's property. She spray-painted derogatory messages on Liz's garage and even keyed her car. As the harassment continued to escalate, both women found themselves caught in a terrifying game of cat and mouse. Liz reported the incidents to law enforcement, but felt that her concerns were not taken seriously enough. The police were unable to track down Cari Farver despite numerous reports and evidence of her threats. In November 2012, just weeks after their initial connection, Cari Farver vanished without a trace. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through Dave's life. What began as an exciting new chapter quickly spiraled into a nightmare filled with fear and uncertainty. As days turned into weeks without any sign of Cari, the haunting reality of her absence weighed heavily on Dave. Despite the growing tension surrounding him, Dave tried to maintain some semblance of normalcy in his life, while grappling with the emotional turmoil brought on by the situation. The arrival of police investigations only added to his anxiety as they sought answers about Cari's disappearance and the escalating harassment directed at him and Liz. The investigation into Cari Farver's disappearance revealed unsettling truths about obsession and manipulation that would forever change Dave Kroupa's life. What started as innocent dating quickly devolved into a dark tale filled with jealousy, fear, and ultimately tragedy. A chilling reminder of how love can turn into something sinister when fueled by obsession. The events surrounding Dave Kroupa would soon unfold in shocking ways that would leave everyone involved grappling with the consequences of choices made in moments of passion and desperation. As the relationship between Dave Kroupa and Cari Farver blossomed, the shadow of jealousy began to creep in, particularly from Shauna Golyar, who had been casually dating Dave before he met Cari. Liz's vibrant personality had initially attracted Dave, but as he started to develop feelings for Cari, Liz's demeanor shifted dramatically. The jealousy that simmered beneath the surface soon erupted into a dangerous obsession. Liz learned about Farver shortly after Dave invited her over to his apartment. The two women had an unexpected encounter when Liz arrived to collect some of her belongings just as Cari was leaving. This chance meeting ignited a firestorm of insecurity within Liz. She felt threatened by Cari's beauty and confidence, and as Dave's interest in Cari grew, so did Liz's paranoia. In the weeks that followed, Liz became increasingly erratic. She bombarded Dave with messages filled with accusations and jealousy, questioning his loyalty and intentions. Her emotional instability escalated when she realized that Dave was spending more time with Cari. Liz's jealousy transformed into a dangerous fixation, leading her to engage in increasingly alarming behavior. On November 13, 2012, the day Cari Farver disappeared, everything changed for Dave. The morning started off like any other. Cari had spent the night at his apartment, and as she prepared to leave for work, Dave kissed her goodbye. They had shared a pleasant evening together, filled with laughter and conversation about their lives and future possibilities. However, that morning would mark the last time anyone would see Cari alive. After their goodbye, Dave received a text from Cari that seemed out of character. She expressed a desire to move in with him, despite their previous discussions about keeping things casual. Confused by this sudden shift in tone, Dave politely declined her request. He sensed that something was off, but could not pinpoint what it was at that moment. The response he received was chilling. Cari's demeanor shifted from affectionate to furious within minutes. "You're ruining my life," she texted back angrily. This unexpected hostility left Dave bewildered and concerned for her well-being. He later reflected on that moment. "I didn't understand why she was so upset. We were just having fun together. I never meant to hurt her." As the hours passed and Cari failed to return home or respond to further messages from Dave, alarm bells began ringing in his mind. He tried reaching out multiple times but received no replies. It wasn't until 3 days later that Cari's mother reported her missing, after she failed to pick up her son from school, a task she never missed. In those critical days following her disappearance, Dave began receiving strange messages from someone claiming to be Cari. The texts were filled with threats and accusations that left him feeling trapped in a nightmare he couldn't escape. One message read ominously, "I hate you so much that I want to drive a knife in your heart." Another warned him, "I will destroy your life and take your happiness." These messages were not only terrifying but also confusing. They seemed to come from someone who knew intimate details about his life. As investigators began looking into Cari's disappearance, they uncovered a web of lies and deceit woven by Liz Golyar. While Dave believed he was receiving texts from Cari herself, they were actually sent by Liz, who had become increasingly obsessed with controlling the narrative surrounding the situation. The day after Cari went missing marked a turning point for both Dave and Liz. In an attempt to gain sympathy and divert suspicion away from herself, Liz called Dave in a panic, claiming that someone had set fire to her house, an act she later claimed was orchestrated by Cari Farver herself. This bizarre twist only deepened the confusion surrounding the case. Dave felt torn between two women who were both vying for his attention, but were now embroiled in a dangerous game of manipulation and obsession. He struggled with feelings of guilt and helplessness as he witnessed the chaos unfold around him. The days turned into weeks without any sign of Cari Farver, leaving Dave grappling with unanswered questions about what happened on that fateful day in November. He recalled those moments with haunting clarity. "I thought we had something special. I never imagined it would end like this." The weight of uncertainty hung heavily on him as he tried to piece together the events leading up to her disappearance. As investigators delved deeper into the case, it became evident that Liz's jealousy had morphed into something far more sinister than anyone could have anticipated. The once casual relationship between Dave and Liz took on an unsettling tone as they both became victims of an unseen tormentor, one who would stop at nothing to maintain control over their lives. In the weeks following Cari's disappearance, both Dave and Liz continued receiving threatening messages purportedly from Cari's phone number. These texts not only harassed them, but also instilled fear within their families as they grappled with the implications of what was happening around them. The investigation into Cari Farver's disappearance revealed unsettling truths about obsession and manipulation that would forever change Dave's life. What started as innocent dating quickly devolved into a dark tale filled with jealousy, fear, and ultimately tragedy, a chilling reminder of how love can turn into something sinister when fueled by obsession. As the truth began to unravel in subsequent years, it became clear that Liz Golyar's actions were driven by a desperate need for control, a need that ultimately led her down a path of destruction from which there would be no return. The events surrounding Dave Kroupa would soon unfold in shocking ways that would leave everyone involved grappling with the consequences of choices made in moments of passion and desperation. As Dave navigated this treacherous landscape filled with deceit and betrayal, he found himself entangled in a web spun by jealousy, one that would change his life forever. The first signs of trouble emerged just days after Cari vanished. Dave received a text message from her phone that read, "Do you want to move in together now?" This unexpected message was puzzling, as they had previously agreed to keep their relationship casual. When Dave replied with a firm, "No," he was met with an immediate and furious response, "I hate you, you ruined my life, I never want to see you again." These angry messages continued throughout the day, flooding his phone with notifications. "All morning my text messages were pinging, pinging, pinging. It was all this nasty stuff. I thought I dodged a bullet," Dave recalled. However, the reality was far more sinister than Dave could have imagined. Over the next few years, he received tens of thousands of threatening texts and emails, more than 50,000 messages in total, often filled with rage and emotional manipulation. The messages were not only alarming but also deeply personal, targeting Dave's relationships and his character. The sheer volume of these communications was overwhelming. Dave reported receiving between 50 to 60 emails per day from various accounts and phone numbers, sometimes as many as 30 different numbers at once. The messages frequently referred to Liz Golyer, Dave's on-again, off-again girlfriend, using derogatory terms like whore. The emotional toll was immense. Dave felt trapped in a nightmare where every aspect of his life was under siege. The impact on Dave's daily life was profound. He became increasingly paranoid and anxious, constantly looking over his shoulder and questioning the safety of his surroundings. The harassment disrupted his routine. He often found it difficult to focus at work or enjoy time with friends and family. In an attempt to regain some control over his life, Dave changed his phone number multiple times, reportedly more than 10 times, but the harassment persisted. No matter how many times he tried to start fresh, the tormentor always seemed to find him. Dave described the feeling of being stalked as suffocating. What do you do when somebody invades every space of your life? His sense of security was shattered as he realized that someone was watching him closely enough to know his habits and routines. On one occasion, while sitting at home watching television, he received a text that accurately described his actions. "I see you sitting in your chair with your feet propped up." This level of surveillance left him feeling violated and terrified. The situation escalated further when Liz also began receiving threatening messages that mirrored Dave's experiences. One day, she called him in distress after discovering that her garage had been vandalized with graffiti that read, "Whore from Dave." This incident marked the beginning of a pattern where acts of vandalism occurred alongside the threatening communications they received. As the harassment continued, both Dave and Liz experienced incidents that blurred the lines between digital threats and real-world violence. In August 2013, Liz's house was intentionally set on fire, killing her pets inside. In the aftermath, both Dave and Liz received emails purportedly from Cari claiming responsibility for the arson. "I hope the whore and her kids die in it," one message said ominously. Despite their efforts to report these incidents to law enforcement, Dave felt that authorities were unable to take effective action against the ongoing harassment. He often described how frustrating it was to feel like he was screaming into a void, his pleas for help seemingly falling on deaf ears. The emotional strain took its toll on Dave's mental health as well. He became increasingly isolated from friends and family out of fear for their safety. The constant barrage of threats made it difficult for him to maintain relationships or even engage in normal social activities without feeling anxious or paranoid about who might be watching or listening. As time went on, it became clear that this was not just a simple case of jealousy or obsession. It was a calculated campaign designed to instill fear and exert control over both Dave and Liz. The digital nature of the harassment allowed the perpetrator, later revealed to be Liz Golyer, to hide behind anonymity while wreaking havoc in their lives. Dave's ordeal lasted for years, with no end in sight until detectives finally pieced together the evidence linking Liz to the harassment campaign. The revelation that someone so close could be behind such malicious actions shattered any remaining trust Dave had in those around him. In reflecting on those harrowing years filled with fear and uncertainty, Dave stated simply, "She ruined my life as much as you can without actually killing me." The investigation into the disappearance of Cari Farver began on November 13, 2012, when she was last seen after spending the night at the home of Dave Kroupa, a man she had been casually dating. Dave reported that he kissed Cari goodbye as he left for work that morning, and when she failed to pick up her son later that day, her mother, Nancy Rainey, reported her missing. The initial response from law enforcement focused on gathering information about Cari's last known whereabouts and her relationships. In the days following her disappearance, Dave began receiving a series of alarming text messages from someone claiming to be Cari. These messages quickly escalated from confusing to threatening. "I will do what I can to make you suffer." One message read, while another stated, "We belong together, Dave." The nature of these communications raised suspicions among investigators, prompting them to consider whether Dave was being targeted by someone close to Cari. As weeks turned into months without any sign of Cari, the investigation began to shift focus. Detectives discovered that Liz had been dating Dave during this time and had crossed paths with Cari in the hallway of Dave's apartment building. Liz also claimed to be receiving harassing messages from Cari, further complicating the situation. This led investigators to believe that jealousy might have played a role in the unfolding events. In January 2013, nearly 2 months after Cari's disappearance, Dave noticed Farver's Ford Explorer parked nearby. Recognizing the vehicle from his work at the auto shop where he had repaired it, he took a photo of the license plate and reported it to the Omaha Police Department. However, when police searched the vehicle, they found only a single fingerprint on a mint container inside, one that did not match Cari or anyone in the FBI's national database. Despite these setbacks, Nancy Rainey continued to seek answers about her daughter's whereabouts. She received occasional tips about sightings of Cari, but none proved fruitful. As time passed without resolution, the case grew cold. However, Liz remained plagued by the constant harassment through texts and emails. By spring 2015, 2.5 years had passed since anyone had seen Cari Farver. The harassment continued unabated. Detectives Ryan Avis and Jim Doty from the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office in Council Bluffs, Iowa, became intrigued by the case and volunteered to take it on. They approached it from different angles. One detective would focus on proving that Cari was still alive, while the other would work to establish that she was deceased. As they delved into the original case file and examined Dave's phone records, they uncovered an astonishing number of messages sent over 3 years. Estimates suggested between 25,000 to 50,000 texts and emails. The messages were increasingly sophisticated in their attempts to disguise their origin. The detectives noted that it seemed unlikely these communications were genuinely coming from Cari Farver. The investigation took a significant turn when detectives found evidence linking Liz directly to the harassment campaign. They discovered a photo of Cari's Ford Explorer on Liz's phone with metadata, indicating it had been taken shortly before police recovered the vehicle. This raised troubling questions about how Liz could have known where Cari's car was located before law enforcement did. Further scrutiny revealed 6 calls made from Liz's phone to Cari's residence using caller ID blocking, calls that she claimed were made only once during a brief encounter in passing. Investigators also found disturbing images sent by Liz to Dave during this period. One particularly horrifying image depicted a woman bound and gagged in a trunk, a clear indication of Liz's intent to instill fear. The investigation reached a critical juncture when detectives discovered video footage uploaded under Cari's name, showing someone walking outside Dave's apartment building. The IP address associated with this upload traced back to Liz's residence. This digital evidence painted a clear picture of Liz's involvement in both the harassment and likely murder of Cari Farver. As detectives pieced together their findings, they obtained a search warrant for Liz's apartment. Inside, they found several items belonging to Cari Farver: clothing, personal belongings, and even a floral shower curtain, identical to one purchased with Cari's debit card shortly after her disappearance. They also recovered a camcorder and digital camera containing videos of Cari discussing incidents of vandalism against her car just days before she vanished. The final breakthrough came when investigators discovered blood evidence inside Cari's abandoned vehicle, a bloodstain under the fabric cover of the passenger seat that matched Cari's DNA. This critical piece of evidence indicated that Liz Golyar had likely killed Cari Farver shortly after she went missing. On December 22, 2016, after gathering sufficient evidence linking Liz Golyar to Cari Farver's murder and harassment campaign, law enforcement arrested her. Despite not having found Cari's body at that point, authorities felt confident in their case against Liz based on the overwhelming digital evidence and forensic findings. The trial commenced in 2017 and revealed shocking details about Liz's actions leading up to and following Cari's murder. Prosecutors presented an array of evidence, including thousands of threatening messages sent from fake accounts created by Liz under various aliases. They also showcased images found on Liz Golyar's devices that depicted violent acts or threats against Dave and others. Throughout the proceedings, Dave struggled with feelings of betrayal as he learned more about Liz's manipulation and deceitful behavior. He expressed disbelief at how someone he had trusted could commit such heinous acts. On August 15, 2017, Judge Timothy Burns found Liz Golyar guilty of first-degree murder for killing Cari Farver. During sentencing, he stated emphatically, "Cari Farver did not voluntarily disappear and drop off the face of the earth. Very sadly, she was murdered. Despite extensive searches for her remains, none were ever recovered. Liz was sentenced to life in prison without parole. In the aftermath of the harrowing events surrounding Cari Farver's disappearance and the subsequent trial of Liz Golyar, Dave Kroupa has made significant strides in moving forward with his life. While the trauma of the past still lingers, Dave Kroupa has sought to rebuild his sense of normalcy. He has distanced himself from the chaos that once consumed him, focusing on his well-being and that of his family. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then check out these videos on the screen now. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to the email in the description. And as always, remember to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, the only thing scarier than this story is missing out on our next video.